Get thee behind me, Satan. And I say also unto thee, that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church. Matthew 16:18. But he turned, and said unto Peter, Get thee behind me, Satan, thou art an offense unto me. For thou savourest not the things that be of God, but those that be of man. Matthew 16:23. Comment. Many believers think that when Jesus said, Get thee behind me, he had spoken this only to Satan, as in Luke 4:8. Not so. Many Catholics feel honored to belong to the original church established by Jesus. To this day, Catholics acknowledge Peter as the first pope, the rock that Jesus built his church upon. But in just 5 verses later, amazingly, we have Jesus calling Peter, Satan. Did Satan really pose as the first pope, or did Jesus simply vilify again? Can you imagine a business owner promoting a man to a job, and then just after the promotion, arguing about his job qualifications? Jesus seems to have a poor sense of delegating duty to the right person here. Furthermore, soon before Jesus died, Peter denied knowing Jesus. Note, the cock crowed on the first denial, according to Mark 14:66-72, not after the third, as the alleged Jesus soothsayed in John 13:38. If the faithful should believe the church's beginning came from someone who offended and denied Jesus, then perhaps it should also give them reason why the Catholic Church seemed to act so demoniacally in their instigation of holy wars, inquisitions and anti-Semitism throughout history. In any case, we should question Jesus' choice for the rock. God creates evil and peace. I form the light, and create darkness. I make peace, and create evil. I the Lord do all these things. Isaiah 45:7. Comment. Here it explicitly states that God creates evil as well as makes peace. Considering that, since the invention of man-made religions there has always existed war, it appears that God likes war more than peace. See also Lamb 3:38, 2 Samuel 12:11 and I Kings 14:10. I will bring evil upon the final lie. Surely, I come quickly. Revelation 22:20. Comment. The last words of Jesus in the Bible. It has been 2,000 years, and Jesus has not come back, hence he did not come quickly. Therefore, this represents either proof of the falsehood of the Bible or that Jesus lied. And who represents the great liar in Christian thought? See, Jesus reveals himself. Fire from the Lord. And Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, took either of them his censer, and put fire therein, and put incense thereon, and offered strange fire before the Lord, which he commanded them not. And there went out fire from the Lord, and devoured them, and they died before the Lord. Leviticus 10:1-2. Comment. In Sunday school, many children learn that Satan lives within and uses fire, yet here we have fire coming out of God to devour 2 young men to death. Their only crime came from offering before God a strange fire. Although no one knows what the term strange fire means, it seems improbable that it could deserve a cruel death. Fire of God. Then the fire of the Lord fell, and consumed the burnt sacrifice, and the wood, and the stones, and the dust, and licked up the water that was in the trench. I Kings 18:38. Comment. We get told that Satan involves himself with the eternal consuming fire, yet the Bible makes it abundantly clear that hellfire comes directly from God. Note that fire does not consume stones, otherwise ovens and kilns could not work. God casts stones. And it came to pass, as they fled from before Israel, and were in the going down to Bethhoron, that the Lord cast down great stones from heaven upon them unto Azekah, and they died. They were more which died with hailstones than they whom the children of Israel slew with the sword. Joshua 10:11. Comment. Another typical slaughter described in the Bible. Here we have God personally throwing great stones on the people for the sole purpose of killing them. The Christian religion has been and still is the principal enemy of moral progress in the world. Bertrand Russell. God rejoices your death. And it shall come to pass, that, as the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good, and to multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you, and to bring you to naught, and ye shall be plucked from off the land whither thou gottest to possess it. Deuteronomy 28:63. Comment. If the religious mind believes that God represents a loving God, then one must wonder about God, as described in the Bible, who would rejoice to destroy some of his creations. Should we hold honor to an insane God? The Bible assures us that God possesses an evil spirit with hate, and full of wrath, and here he rejoices in destruction. God appears completely devoid of any wit or humor, a mental state that psychologists have observed in many schizophrenics. God the jealous. For thou shalt worship no other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a-whoring after their gods, and do sacrifice unto their gods, and one call thee, and thou eat of his sacrifice, and thou take of their daughters unto thy sons, and their daughters so a-whoring after their gods, and make thy sons go a-whoring after their gods. Thou shalt make thee no molten gods. Exodus 34:14-16. Comment. Verse 14, among other verses of the Bible, makes it abundantly clear that this God not only feels jealous but the Bible names him jealous. Why an all-powerful God should feel jealous of his creations simply because they believed in other gods remains unclear. Could it mean that other gods exist as well as the Hebrew God, or that the other gods do a better job? It appears that many Christians fail to heed this explicit command in verse 16 to not make molten gods. Many Christians use plastic Jesus or molten statuettes of Christ tortured and nailed to a cross, Jesus, supposedly God in human form. God's fiery serpents. And the people spake against God, and against Moses, Wherefore have ye brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loatheth this light bread. And the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much people of Israel died. Numbers 21:5-6. Comment. The Israelites began to complain against God about their miserable condition in the wilderness. So what did their loving God do? Their jealous God sent fiery serpents to cause even more misery and death. Serpents, usually regarded as the devil, appears to have come from the direct will of God here. Do God and Satan work together as a team? Let us hope not. Actually, in ancient cultures the snake represented a symbol of the goddess. Many times the priestess of a goddess temple would use snakes in their rituals. Sometimes a snake bite could cause hallucinations, or by their beliefs, prophetic visions. Much of the Old Testament describes the Israelites overtaking the goddess cultures and destroying their cities. They thoroughly eliminated the goddess religions and replaced them with their male god religion. They even turned the scripture words of the goddess into masculine terms. Nowhere does the word goddess appear in the Old Testament, yet many times, when you see the word gods, it actually refers to goddesses. Sending fear into the hearts of the Israelites concerning the goddess, gave power to their own male god. Thus, Numbers 21:8-9 describes Moses' control of the goddess symbol by making a fiery serpent. Anyone who gets bitten, when he sees it, lives. The deaths due to the fiery serpents and then Moses' command from the Lord to save their lives when bitten, must have given their male god a powerful image. God, man of war. The Lord is a man of war, the Lord is his name. Exodus 15:3. Comment. Note that many fundamentalists who consider every word of the Bible as fact must also concede that God not only consists of a man, but also a man of war, a killer man of men. With such a belief, how could a Christian people ever divorce war from their lives? The Midrash Rabbah gives an explanation of the man God. His lower half was man, but his upper half was as God. Left square bracket only the lower half of his body, the seat of the sexual and secretory